When I lived up in Maryland, it wasn't like I went and central apartments downtown. So I don't okay. Winnie wouldn't say.
Hey, how y'all doing? Stokes. Stokes.
I saw the car, so I said, he's here.
Yeah, I'm here. This is like 8:30. I know all talking places. They ain't gonna stay with her. Hey, man, how you doing?
How you doing? How you doing?
I had long drive.
Yeah.
Almost 3 minutes.
Not really saying come to me about.
Well, to be fair, now I want you to know this. I'll talk to Mr. Whistler, he's actually a former fisher. I plan to do this actually in Williamsville. I tried. Because it was stretched up in Curry. It is a little more central. It's still very accessible, you know, it's 1760. Come up when I called the community college here, they said, "Yep, it's available." It's someone coming.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, sure. We get ready to gut and redo it this summer.
Okay.
In fact, when we do something, we actually go to the high school.
Okay.
Okay, well, maybe I'll call high school. No, you can't get a high school because we got an event. College got an event.
Wow.
But they're redoing it this summer, so maybe we'll be in Williamson next year.
Wow.
Yeah, because when we were doing the water seminar, they I went in there and looked at it, and they said, they would prefer that we not use it.
That's what they said.
It's overdue.
And this summer, they're supposed to gut it.
Okay.
But it was not my first choice, even though this benefits me personally to be here.
So Karen told me, what else was taken? Pit was taken out.
So we lost Pit, added Wayne, Illinois. And that's roughly in terms of population. It's about a point more risk. We also lost Franklin County, but we added Kentucky 10. Again, from a population perspective, it's about 8 blocks.
So are they serving pastry?
Donuts. So where we went from Christmas about a 55.
Yeah, don't worry about I didn't eat anything.
I love also.
And there's some with sprinkles. In that thing.
It's the closest thing to a 50-50 district. And that's not good.
So that's the question. I didn't write.
Just in your values there, how you got
Good morning, Ms. Foley. How are you? Did they have you a list out there? Check in, okay.
I wanted to say. For candidate.
my GPS tries to get on
But that is the job. That's what I do.
Hi, the chair up there, so I can get it out.
And, you know,
Try not to cash.
and like I told the ladies at your meeting, I don't take sides. I try to bring forth what is right. You know, and there's some disagreements in Dancy's County. I tell both sides.
Hey.
What I think, you can't
Oh, yeah. Right.
So,
That makes a difference.
how you doing? How's the arm moving?
I got nerve damage, so I'm still numb 6 weeks later.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning. Ooh, I had that. Oh, God.
You sure have been it's not that because she reminded me of going tomorrow.
oh. Ain't you do that? I ain't gonna do
Oh, that's
Thank you.
the umbrella in my car. I was going to bring it in, but I thought I'll just bring it here.
I have something for you. Mine's in my bag. Oh, well, there's people in the room I don't, it's in class, yeah.
I go down.
Oh, you know, way the other day. Here. Also, anyone else? Oh, no, yeah, they actually one.
Actually, to tell the truth, I'd rather do this. I'm gonna sit right here on the edge. I'm prepared to sit down.
How are you?
Martha said, I told you you don't have
Well, you have several. Oh, Hardee. Hey, Chris.
Good morning. Now it's been about 2 hours.
Okay.
I'm doing fine. I apologize. Y'all had such an early rise as one of you dropped. Well, we got spoiled with the winter SEC meeting being next door. The district event's going to be here, but moving forward for a while, it's going to be all right because the summer meeting's in Athens.
Come back here.
One of the reasons I'm not here. Aren't they right there at the door? I don't know. Anyway, let me go ahead. Because that's one of the reasons I'm on the edge. Yeah.
It's continuously can happen with possibilities, but just never has
Well, thank you for letting me know. Things I do. You get to be walking out, right? How are you? I'm not sitting here. I'm going to bed. Is someone sitting there? No. It's probably and have something
So it was in there? Yeah, it's not related. Okay. I saw it near.
Here you go. It's yours.
Like what?
It's a pre-sale. No, you can just have it. It was Alan's great grandparents. And when we had picked things that we wanted from drove to South Dakota, we got them, we get home, we have 2 pepper shakers instead of salt and pepper. And look at how humongous they are. We don't, I mean, we have one. We obviously don't use
Well,
it.
you know, my kitchen is painted about this color, and my bar stools are this color, and I have other things that Yeah. And I'll put this on the window. Did you know that, or did she know that? So have you already been looking at some of the stuff? We were pricing.
Well, we were pricing, so.
Okay. This I thought was kind of dear.
You're welcome.
Grandparent, your grandparent?
His, yes.
His great
His grandparents. Sorry.
People to have it.
Well, you're welcome. We have one at our house.
Wait a minute, wait a minute. No. Short a dollar. And, and you understand.
I know where she
I'm getting the
lives.
wallet out right now.
I know where she lives. So we have 21 people, so in this room. Yeah, but we have 74 delegates. We should have more. Jim and Nancy said they were coming. Oh, and Barbara and Joy are out there.
Did they have your name on the list? Because you weren't all of us at the county convention, right? You know, we got my mom and dad, and then. I will.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start here in just a minute. So if you'd start taking your seats, but while we're doing that, draw your attention to the screen. We'll talk about this in another minute. But later today, after the convention adjourned, but here on campus, right actually next door, there'll be a dedication ceremony for the Milton Fitch Senior Post Office. Congressman Davis and the Post Office and members of Congress have worked together to have that dedication. But I do want to draw your attention to it. We'll talk about it a little more after the meeting starts.
Yes.
That had to be. You work your magic. Guess he's clean by chance. If you can't, one here I have to one about it. All right. So I think all this out here. It's so fancy. I don't know that they're really subtle. I figure we should try. Well, you know, but now we're going to. There's one or two people. But the inside is just stained. There's no way I think that. But anyway, so those I think I thought this Yeah, down here.
I want to ask this.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the first Congressional District Convention. My name is Chris Hardee. I'm your district chair, and at 10:05 we are calling to order. So, welcome to Wilson. Those of you SEC members might be having a little bit of deja vu, because we were here just a few months ago at the building next door at Sally Howard School. It's good to be in Wilson. It's good to be in the first district, but I can tell you, you folks who are SEC members, it's going to be a minute before we're in Eastern North Carolina again. But it is good to be here in the East. I'm going to call on our secretary, Dr. Kimball, for a roll call, please, of the counties.
Good morning, Chairman Hardee. Good morning, all assembled. Roll call. Will you please have someone from your delegation to please call out and let me know he's here. Berkeley County. Chowan. Camden. Currituck. Edgecombe. Gates. Green. Halifax. Kirkwood. Lenore. Martin. Nash. Northampton. Pasquotank. Perquimans. Terrell. Vance. Warren. Washington. Wilson. Wayne. Mr. Chair, quorum has been set.
We were trying to look at our list, and I did not have one printed, Granville. That was no reflection on you. It was on me. I apologize. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. I'd like to call on our chaplain, Citizen Forney, for invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Hardee. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. God bless you. So good to see all of you who have assembled here this morning. Will you please stand? Let's go through the throne room. Thank God for being here this morning. You woke us up early this morning. Amen. And we're going to have a great convention. Let us pray. Most glorious and humble God, we just praise you on this day, this great day that you've given us. You woke us up early this morning. And we thank you for your son, Jesus, and thank you for the gift of the Holy Ghost. Father God, we thank you for everyone who have assembled here today. We thank you for a successful convention, Father God. In Jesus' name, we do pray and say amen. God bless you all, and you may be seated.
Thank you. Democratic Party statement of inclusion reads as follows: that all public meetings at all levels of the North Carolina Democratic Party shall be open to all members of the Democratic Party, regardless of race, sex, age, color, creed, national origin, religion, ethnic identity, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, economic status, or disability. In order that the Democratic Party at all levels be open party, which includes rather than excludes people from participation, a program of effective affirmative action has been adopted by the North Carolina Democratic Party. Discrimination on the basis of status in the conduct of the North Carolina Democratic Party affairs is hereby prohibited. So, it has been my practice, many of you have seen me do this, heard me do this before, at conventions where we're electing officers to choose a convention chair. And the reason for that, I've found, is the party plan of organization says when you elect officers, those new officers take office immediately upon their election. And we want to give reverence to the folks who get elected here today, but it may be that you elect a new chairman, and they may follow the agenda I've laid out, they may not. You may elect a new secretary, and you may have notes that somebody's written the first half and somebody's going to write the second half. So it's my practice to ask you to elect a presiding officer for the convention who will preside through the rest of the day, and the same thing as the recording secretary for the convention. Is there a nomination for a presiding officer for this convention? Your name and county, please.
When Wilkes, Nash County, I make a motion of being nominated.
The nominate from Gwen, properly second. Are there further nominations? Are there further nominations? Your name and county, sir.
I move Warren County. I move the nomination be closed and share my name.
Okay, Yarborough Williams, Warren County. Is there a second? There you go. A second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. Thank you. I have the same request for a recording secretary today. Dr. Georgette Campbell is your party secretary and is taking notes of your diligence, trying to keep up with me. And is there a nomination for a recording secretary for the day?
Chair of Warren County, I move that secretary that we have now be elected.
Okay.
If there's no one else want to come forward.
So there's a nomination for Dr. Campbell to be the recording secretary for the day.
Yes,
Is there a second? Second. We got a second? Yarborough Williams will make the nomination second from the floor. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Seeing no nominations are closed, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Thank you much. The motion passes. The rules for the day are on the back of your agenda. They are fairly straightforward. The same rules that I've used for a number of years as a district chair in 2 different districts. We ask that you be recognized before you speak out, that you tell us your name and where you're from. We make sure that you're a credentialed delegate, and I think most all of you are, but if you're not, let us know. Roll call voting, if necessary. We have your caucus by county, and then the county chair will bring me this ballot, and we'll enter that in. Limitations on debate. Debates no longer than 3 minutes per person. You can speak no more than twice. Total limit on any issue is 10 minutes. Nominations begin on the floor. Nominations are only the name and what they're running for. We don't need long-winded nomination speeches, no matter how much you like your brother to be the new chair.
Thank you.
Censure. We ask that you not say anything disparaging about any member. If so, I will call you out on it. And if it continues, I'll politely ask you to leave. Motions, if necessary, for the secretary and myself, I may ask for a motion to be in writing. And finally, resolutions. We have a number of resolutions come from the counties. They are in order. They'll be presented later. They went through the process, and there are no resolutions from the floor. Those are the rules. Is there a motion to adopt them?
So moved.
I have a motion here by Viola from Wayne County. Is there a second? A second from the floor. All those in favor of adopting the rules as presented signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Viola Figueroa, Wayne County. I've got a text here from Congressman Davis that says almost there. If y'all know Congressman Davis, you know what that means. We're going to keep on going and give him the floor when he gets here. So in 2024, we had a convention much like this one, and this is a brief summary of it. It is not detailed minutes as was sent out to each county in advance. But we had 16 of 19 counties present. Congressman Davis via Zoom, because the leadership in Congress scheduled a vote on a Saturday, so he had to come in by Zoom. 14,000. That figure is wrong. Oh, there it is. $14,551.19 cash on hand. We elected the following delegates to the Democratic National Convention. We elected the following folks to lead the standing committees of the state party. There were 3 resolutions adopted, and there was discussion about outreach and signs and things of that nature and other business. Is there a motion to adopt the convention 2024 main minutes as presented? From Currituck County, your name? Dewey? What's the last name? First name? Diana Dewey from Currituck County. The motion to adopt the 24 minutes. There's a second? Second from the floor. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries to adopt the minutes. Now in 2024, we had such a good time at the convention, they decided that we needed 2 of them. The legislature, in their infinite wisdom, pun intended, decided to redraw the lines last year. And we lost some counties. We missed our good friends from Pitt and Franklin County. But we got some new folks that we like to hang out with from Currituck and Camden and Wayne and Lenore. But because of that, in an effort to make sure that those new folks got a voice in your leadership, last fall, 7 short months ago, we had another district convention in September for the sole purpose of reorganizing. And at that meeting, we elected a new slate of officers. And if you see that on stage, the nominations for the new slate of officers, myself as chair, Janice Cole is the first vice chair, Sylvia Barnes, the second vice chair, Cole Phelps, the third vice chair, Larry Jones was appointed as the treasurer, and Dr. Georgette Kimball was returned as our secretary. So those folks who are your current officers today were elected last fall, like I said, 7 months ago. We also had elected standing committee members, platform, plan of organization, and the council review. It was also noted that we were in the process of buying about 3,000 Harris wall signs, because y'all remember they were in high demand, but tough to get, unless you're in Nash County. Now, y'all work some magic over there in Nash County, got it. And maybe that's just where the delivery truck was, because now there's 3,000 signs, they said they were going to deliver them. I had to meet them in Nash County. Good folks up there in our neighbors. But we do that, and we distribute them across the district to make sure everybody got their signs. In fact, we have more Nash County Harris wall signs than we had down Davis signs. Anyway, so that was the business of the September meeting. Is there a motion to adopt those minutes? Alfreda Perkins from Edgecombe County's a motion. Is there a second? Second from the body. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. We've adopted our second set of minutes, and hopefully there's only 2 last year. Now you'll notice up here with us, we have my outstanding secretary and our phenomenal chaplain. And you're going, where's the rest of the officers, Chris? Janice Cole is overseas right now, and part of me wishes I was with her. I mean, I like Wilson. I live here, but, you know, I love to travel. And Ms. Barnes could not make it. She had a conflict today. Cole also did. Larry, our treasurer, actually emailed me at 7 a.m. this morning. Yes, I was up getting my head to breakfast. Says our flight is delayed. We're coming. I may or may not get there by the time the convention ends, even though it certainly would not be here before it begins. But he did send a report, which I'll get to in a minute. So that is where some of our officers are. They are around. They're just not here today, and I apologize for that. It makes us look like we don't have a full team, even though we do. And what's really neat about that team is where they're from. There are 22 counties in the 1st Congressional District, from Currituck in the northeast all the way across to Warren and Granville and Vance and those counties in the northwest, down to Wayne, Lenore, and South. Of course, we're here central with Nash and Wilson and Edgecombe. It's huge. It's a quarter of the state. And while the plan of organization requires that the officers be diverse by gender and by race and by age and those sorts of things, the nominating committee that put together that slate of names last fall, what I asked them to do more importantly, or not more importantly, but as importantly, was to have them geographically diverse. So I'm from here in Wilson, the center part of the district. Janice is from the northeast. Miss Sylvia is from Wayne in the southern part of the district. Cole is from Washington County, the eastern part. That you can't get there from the northeast because there's a big body of water in the other way called the Albemarle Sound. And Dr. Kimball is from the northwest, as is Larry, our appointed treasurer. So we have a great diversity. So there's always an officer literally in your backyard. And I want that to be known as you think about nominations a little later today. That yes, we have to have diversity, but we also have to have geographic diversity. Moving on with our agenda. Larry did send this report. We've actually, donations came in. Our cash on hand as of the close of business yesterday is $21,989.36. Yes, that, Madam Secretary. All right. All reports are filed, and the only outstanding check is one that he is sending to me to cover the donuts today. But that's $1,500 to Carolyn. Any question about those two reports? Seeing none, hearing none. Anything else from the board at this point? Seeing none and hearing none. Hold on. Let's see what my text says. Those of you know the outstanding Kim Mack, former first vice chair of the party and current district director of the boss, also said he's almost there. Folks, I had the pleasure of, when I came to the 1st district, y'all know that I was the district chair in the 3rd district for a long time, almost 20 years. I worked closely with Congressman Davis when he was in this role. Because back then, a lot of the districts, a lot of the counties were shared, and we worked very closely together. And when he was elected to Congress, he asked me to do this job. And I said, but Don, I don't live here full time. He goes, yes, you do, Chris. You live in Wilson. We all know it. And I went, okay. So I moved my registration to Wilson, and here I am. But I also had the pleasure of going to work in his congressional office for about 2 years. It's a challenge serving this district. I don't know how he and his team continue to do that. I know I had about 6 counties I had to do up in the northeast. But he's all over the place. His team with Kim and all of them are all over the place, to the point that with this redrawing, as y'all probably know, they don't have a single office like they did in Greenville, but they have 3 offices. They have an office in Wayne County in Goldsboro. They have an office in Nash County in Rocky Mount. They have an office, where's my passport tank people? There he is, in Elizabeth City. And it might not be quite as big, but it's just as effective, I promise you. And he's got a regional team that's out there in the field. So if you need somebody you can't get to one of those offices, they will come to you. And in fact, if you noticed, this past week they have what they call office hours. Well, they're in every single county in the district. And I can tell you, as someone who is on that staff, one fun time. I've left his congressional office mostly because the father of 3 boys, I need to be home at night. But I can tell you, doing that, it's a challenge. To be in 22 counties, to have office hours where people can come and sit down across the table and say, hey, we've got a problem with this. Or, hey, we want you to vote this way on that topic. Because I promise you, listening to you folks in the field is what Congressman and his team do and do best. Those other people aren't having town halls. We're having to have them for them. And a lot of the red districts across the state, Democrats are holding town halls for those congressmen that refuse to do it. Our neighbors to the south, in the 3rd Congressional, they don't see their congressman. He stays in D.C. or in Green. But we see Congressman Davis, he's everywhere. His staff is everywhere. And his party needs to be everywhere, and that's where you come in. So I'm going to move to the next item of business on our agenda. I keep seeing the door open. I'm hoping, but not seeing the people I want to see yet before I do that. But we're going to move on. All right, so we're going to move to elections. We elect a chair and 3 vice chairs and secretary. These are your current office holders who I mentioned earlier. And at this point in time, I'm going to open the floor for nominations for the office of chair. Yes, ma'am. What do you recognize? There is a motion from Shauna Williams from Warren County that we re-elect the existing officers to the respective slots. Did I speak that correctly? Correct. Is there a second to the motion? Okay, I'm going to take that as nominating each of them, because for the plan, I need to open the floor for each office just to make sure y'all want to get rid of me. I'm going to give you that opportunity. And I'm glad to do it. Been doing this job a long time, but I'm glad to recognize more leadership. But thank you for that nomination, and this board thanks you for that nomination. So we're going to do this one at a time. Are there further nominations for the office of chair? Further nominations for the office of chair? Oh, we did it 3 times. Further nominations for the office of chair?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move the nomination be closed and set one thing.
Second.
Yarborough Williams, Warren County.
Warren County.
What he said, Warren County. Moves to close nominations for chair and elect Chris Hardee as the sole nominee. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion passes. I have been reelected. Now, folks, I was looking out that door. To not have elections before this next thing happens, it almost worked. So we're going to pause nominations for just a minute, or it may be more than just a minute. We'll see. Because we're going to bring somebody else up here for some remarks. And I want to tell you something. This next speaker came forward a couple of years ago and says, Chris, I want you to be the district chair. I said, I want you to come to my conventions. And he is here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and give a thunderous applause to our Congressman, Don Davis.
Well, hello, North Carolina, 1st Congressional District, Democrats. Oh, God, it's so good to see you, to be here. It's good to be here in Wilson County. Let's give it up for Wilson County today. And also, I want to, before we go any further, let's give it up to our law enforcement. National Police Week, but above all, we've seen so much tension these days in politics, and it's important for us to be able to come right here at the auditorium in Wilson Community College and be able to assemble and have a Democratic Party meeting, a convention, and know that we're here in a safe manner. So thank you so much to our law enforcement community. Brother Galley, I walked in the door. I think it was right on time to cast my vote for Chris Hardee for chair. Let's give it up for Chris Hardee. All that he's doing to move us forward here in the 1st Congressional District. And I'm telling you, I come from the party, y'all. Y'all know that. So I want to recognize all of our county party chairs. Any of our county party chairs, stand up. Let's give a shout out to them. All of our precinct chairs, stand up. Give all of our precinct chairs a big shout out to all of those who are leading the Democratic Party in our 1st Congressional District forward. Thank you. Let's give a hand to everybody that's here today. Need some elected officials here. They even let Glenn out of Nash County today. Let's give it out to all of our elected officials. Stand. Let's recognize our elected officials who are here today. Let's give all of our elected officials. I see we have a special secret weapon in Eastern North Carolina. These mayors that come out of Eastern North Carolina. Mayors out of Martin County, all down in those areas like that. It's so good to see you. And my dear friend, please stand up, and brother, just continue to lead us in faith and word, and been a giant in Eastern North Carolina and our landscape of politics. And I'm telling you, was really paving the way so that we could carry this district and make sure the last time around we did our part in Eastern North Carolina trying to get Vice President to take off the title of Vice and make it President Harris. But Brother Gallia, James Gallia, stand up, brother. Thank you. Reverend G. To each and every one of you that's here today, this is for me like a family reunion. I'm glad to be here for more ways than one. Now, y'all know the blood, sweat, and tears I put in as a district chair, leading us for so many years going forward. And then finally, you got this little kid from Snow Hill, North Carolina. Grew up cropping tobacco, raised by his grandmother. Went on to serve the country in the Air Force. Came back home as soon as I could to run for office, my hometown of Snow Hill, to go and serve in the General Assembly, and to now serve in the Congress. I can't say thank you enough, 1st Congressional District Democrats. But I'm here. And I say that I went through all that journey, coming from the roots of the party, and was elected to Congress, Viola, and I get there, and it's like, okay, now I'm ready for the 1st district convention. And watch this, get stuck by weather in Texas. So I was like, okay, I missed the first one. My wife comes in, and, you know, I was told she did better than I did. And so the second year comes, and guess what? They decide to act crazy in Washington, D.C. And we had to stay over the weekend for a budget vote. But guess what? We are here today in the 1st district that I'm in. I want to say to all those who are taking on offices at the county level, congratulations to you. This is the time that we reset the party. This is the reset. This is the reset. This is when we reset ourselves, we arm ourselves, and we prepare ourselves to get ready to go into battle. So congratulations to all of our new officers that's taken over this year at the county level. Now, we still have some elections. I came in after the chair. So we still have some elections to go here. And I would say in advance to those who get elected today, it's an honor and a pleasure to be able to serve, really. Okay. For those who are serving, raise your hand if you're doing this for money. Sandy, I thought I was going to get some reaction out of you on that one. But we don't do this for money. We do this because we care. But let's talk about what in the world is going on. What in the world is going on? Can you make sense of all of this? And these are the pressing times for our country. We've now officially, to executive order and then now enact the Congress I had to vote on last week, change the name, working to change the name from the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Now, I'm just being candid. I do a lot of traveling across the country, more than I ever realized. I was down in the area right off the Gulf of Mexico, and there's a Republicans talking to me. We like the Gulf of Mexico. You can't make this up. We pardon January 6th protesters who are attacking Capitol Police. I mean, even if you're going to pardon them, how do you pardon the ones that also attack the police? Help make sense of this. I don't understand it. Now we're seeing tariffs. Tariffs. Tariffs, beautiful tariffs. I mean, these are like beautiful tariffs, y'all. And let me be clear. A tariff inherently is not a bad thing. If you put a tariff, embrace it with good, sound economic policy, and hear this, and then efforts to really get behind strengthening the workforce here in America, you can bring jobs back to even Eastern North Carolina. But when you're constantly, day in and day out, changing, it's creating a great deal of uncertainty. That's what I hear, and I continue to hear from the business community. If you're going to make a $500,000 investment to bring jobs back to America, a $500 million investment, aren't you going to want to know the certainty around that investment? You're not going to want to know you took action now to invest a $500 million and you don't even know what's going to happen next week. Nevertheless, today, the end of the day. What's taking place? We're trying to figure all of this out right now. We do all of that, taking strong positions on Canada and Mexico. But giving a pass to Putin? Yeah. Really? Last week I traveled, Vice Ranking Member of the Armed Services Committee, and traveled to London for the London Defense Conference. And to hear from people in the European community, just the concerns, the sentiment of concerns. And hear this is what I'm hearing. Where's America? Will you be there with us and for us? Travel to Ukraine. Travel to the Middle East. And these are the things that I'm hearing. We want to somehow end citizenship for people born in America. Okay, let's go figure that one out. Now, these are all the things, I hadn't even gotten to the federal employees, laying them off and all this stuff. As we're laying off federal employees, and the truth be known, we are here today, and we have some pretty good attorneys that's doing a lot of good work in the courtroom. And now what's happening is we're winning in many of these cases. That's the truth. So now you have people they're trying to get rid of, some sitting home on paid leave. Figure that one out. My friends, we just left D.C. And I want you to be clear. at where we're standing. As a member of the Ag Committee, to vote against nearly $300 billion of cuts from a nutrition program. We're talking about feeding kids, dependents of military veterans. Do we have any military veterans here? Yes. Stand up. Let's recognize our military veterans today. And I want to be clear. And no, continue standing, because I want to be clear when I say this. Instead of trying to figure out how to cut your dependents off, we're going to stand with you and thank you for your service to our country. I don't believe there's a mandate for this. Washington, D.C. is more polarized than ever before. Only a narrow majority in the House. And my friends, here's the deal. So now, okay, y'all have been reading the news and watching announcements and stuff. But I want to be clear. Now we have an opponent. Okay? And my opponent says, go read it for yourself. Part of the reason he wants to serve is he wants to be supportive, to make clear, to make it known, well known, here in Eastern North Carolina, without any doubts whatsoever in your mind, that he is standing 100% with the Trump agenda. No, I'm going to be clear. Sometimes I got to deal with y'all calling me because I haven't always lined up. I mean, I give a classic example. I mean, even during the last administration, and efforts came to start shutting down what I saw, shutting down Seymour Thompson Air Force Base. Y'all know Eastern North Carolina. How in the world do we lose jobs? Every squadron that closes over 500 jobs. And they were talking about closing jobs. And we went in to fight and say, hey, to the administration, we can't do that. This is Eastern North Carolina, one of the most economically distressed congressional districts in the nation. Why are we trying to close down these squadrons here in Eastern North Carolina? And we push back, and guess what? Those squadrons are here today. So I want to let you know what we are fighting for. To be clear, we're fighting for the people of Eastern North Carolina. We're fighting for our families. In the end, we're standing up for our families. And to me, that's what this should be about. Now, I just so believe that on many of the issues we're there. We're fighting and representing families. To be clear, this is not a contest, or it should not be on who can support one agenda that may have nothing to do with Eastern North Carolina. Nothing to do with Eastern North Carolina. So my friends, as we come together today, I want to let you know that we're focused. We're clear on where we are, what we're trying to do. We're trying to do it with precision. Okay, so watch this. I know some of you want to say, hey, we want a town hall. Here it is, and especially with all of the media reporting going on town halls. I'm in a little different district situation, North Carolina District 3 District. Y'all know what's going on? Oh, come on, y'all. Y'all don't know what's going on? If you didn't know what was going on, you wouldn't be so quiet. You'll give a big hand to Allison Riggs right now. But when I ran the first time. It was a tight race. They changed the map. I got 5 new counties. So I spent the time just trying to make sure I'm getting into those counties. This is how I believe we serve Eastern North Carolina families. How in the world do you expect me to serve? And I don't even go and know who they are.
That's right.
You have to get in there. And that's been pretty much right in the center of my leadership. Because I can tell you, as much as now, I'm traveling literally the world these days, what I'm more proud of is what little time we get is to be able to move about our communities, our counties. Last Congress, we made about 350 stops, 2 counties. That's not the stops within the counties. We're burning the road. And guess what? The largest geographic congressional district now in North Carolina. Let's figure this out. And that's why it's so important. I'm used to traveling from county to county, trying to go as far as I can. But guess what? I have all 22 of you in one room. You cannot, in this congressional district now, 100% of the counties are rural. You can't get around on 1 gas a tank. That's a true story. Can't do it. So here's what we are fighting for, what we're about. And this was a major takeaway that I had from the last election. So often we come, my heart is in the people, you know that. Grassroots, on the ground, talking to the people. And we've grown congressional district. But the big takeaway was we have to get out there. And we got to meet people where they are in their lives. People are busy. They're doing things. They talk different ways, communicate in different ways. I mean, we're trying to figure out what's the best way to talk to people. It's not necessarily traditional radio and traditional newspaper. I mean, I'm not saying those things don't matter. Can I do a plug for the podcast? What's the name of the podcast?
In black and white.
There you go, in black and white. All right. We're now engaging in so many different ways, trying to connect with people. We have to get out there and meet them where they are. We have to go beyond this auditorium talking to ourselves. We got to get there in every nook and cranny in communities across this district. And we have to, in a real way, Barbara, look at them in the eye and let them know that we care. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. We have to let them know this is not business as usual. We can just come around when the election is getting close and ask them to come out and cast a vote. But we have to, Tina, in a real way, let them know that we care. Ronald, we care. We care about them. That's what I believe is the greatest takeaway. And we continue to stand, Eddie, on our vision. Our vision, I believe this to my core, because I've seen this. I believe so many people here in the East feel and know we have been, as a matter of fact, left behind, left out of the equation. Brother Gallup, you know when we're in Raleigh fighting these fights. There's no way you can convince me that everybody was thinking about us. But I can tell you what is important is to make sure that our voices are heard in Washington, D.C., to make sure for certain that our stories are told, to make sure that we're not forgotten. And then there's another part of this message today. And that message is part of my task. I believe fundamentally I have an obligation to provide us hope, even in the midst of these times that we're living in. To be hopeful, to be hopeful, to be hopeful is to also understand our history, our resilience, our strength as a country, but as people around here in Eastern North Carolina, Northampton County, Halifax County, Edgecombe County, Nash County, Terrell County, the smallest county in the state of North Carolina. We have to have hope. No one said a word because I was determined. I went to Terrell County, and I'm saying this, smallest county, really red. But guess what? I said, we got to go to Terrell County. You can't start by writing people off. We had the Interior Secretary in Terrell County. Friends, we're fighting for all of our counties. I'm fighting as hard as I know to fight. We have these guides that we have put out. And I want to be clear. We have what I call a capital improvement plan. We've gone into communities, we've collected data to understand what the needs are for our communities. We know what it is. We have it collected in a document. And we're working to try to move through that list. You understand there's a mountain of needs in Eastern North Carolina. That's the challenge. We ended up getting nearly 15 projects through last time. And I'm being clear. I'm working and moving across counties, trying to get as many projects as we can done. And we are getting it done. We still have another round of projects that we're working on right now. Now it was pushed off. Why? Because Congress continues to kick the can down the road through the process of continuing resolutions. That's not the way to run government. And when you see us up there going at it on this stuff, and you see then, I don't want to vote to shut down the government. When you vote to shut down the government on rural America, hence Eastern North Carolina, it has an even more profound impact on us. You're talking about Meals on Wheels. Talking about Head Start.
Yes.
All these programs that are important to our communities. But let me share where we are and what we continue to be about and where our focus is. Without any doubt, we're fighting for our farmers. We have to fight for our farmers. Agriculture is still our leading industry. We've experienced enormous drought, and in the West, Hardee. We have to stay in this fight for our farmers. We're fighting to continue to protect Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. You got to start with these big regional efforts, y'all. You do. And right now, we help to get money into our NDAA, and that's going to be really important to sustaining the operations of the F-15Es at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base. Not only that, we are fighting to create good paying jobs here in Eastern North Carolina. We're going to keep our kids right here in the East. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. Too many kids, they're looking to leave because of one word. They see the lack of opportunity is the word they always use. So we're fighting to bring opportunities here. That's why we're working with Newport News Shipyard. This is what we understand. China's outpacing us at an alarming rate at shipbuilding. So we're ramping up our shipbuilding operations, but guess what? What does all this have to do with us? Well, they don't have the capacity to do it all in Newport News, Virginia. We already have about 1,100 North Carolinians working in the shipyard. We're fighting for Northeastern North Carolina. Just did an announcement here in Wilson County, Johnson & Johnson. Just did an announcement this week in Goldsboro with Prolink. So 300 jobs, good paying jobs, an average salary over $70,000 a year. My friends, all of this is important. Why? Because in the midst of all of this going on, we must not and cannot lose sight that there are too many families that are still struggling, trying to get by, get to the end of the month, raising kids. You know how that is. Taking kids from AAU tournaments and all, doing the best they can. I'm in that boat too. I got a middle schooler. Y'all know, you've seen him do the Pledge of Allegiance. He's not graduated yet. As a matter of fact, I do believe do we have any graduates here? Any graduates that's here? Anyone graduating? That's what I was thinking. I thought I saw you online. Is it UNC? Oh, let's give it up. But we need to make a promise and a commitment to all of our young people that we're in this fight. We're not writing them off. We're not giving up on them. And that we're going to work to bring these jobs. That's why we have to continue to support the Global Trans Park here in the East. We're in this for the right reasons. And we have to make sure we're creating pathways. That's why I announced the Veterans Job Opportunities Act, the pathways for creating new jobs, small businesses right here in Eastern North Carolina. It doesn't stop there. Infrastructure, we're still in the fight. And I was very intentional to be clear. This Congress, was actually elected amongst my peers to serve as the vice ranking member. Of the commodities markets, essentially our rural development subcommittee of agriculture. And the reason I emphasize rural development, community facilities, fire trucks, needs of our fire departments, these needs for rural America are right here in this area, in this space. Housing for seniors, broadband, all this is in this space. And we're going to stay in this fight, working to build our infrastructure, working to build our roads. We understand the importance of I-87. To be clear, understand the importance of I-87. My friends, we're in this fight and we're going to stay in this fight. All the issues that are important to us. We're in the fight for housing, expanding housing efforts. We need to expand our capacity here in the East. The inventory is light. And not only that, we typically are the ones getting hit by the natural disasters. So one of the bills we're working on is enhancing resilience efforts, so that now when you're rebuilding, you're not forced to rebuild to old standards, but you can actually build to mitigate a future event. Wow. These are things we're going to continue to work on. There's a host of local bills that we're working on. We're going to stay in the fight to get our Halawasaponi tribe recognized at the federal level. And also to make sure there's fairness in our tax system for our Coast Guard veterans. They were left out of the process. They were just left out because Coast Guard typically falls under, or they don't fall under the Armed Services Committee. Let me say it that way. So these are things we're working on, and here's what we are. And here's now what's before us. As we come together, Politico has ranked this district as the 10th most flippable in the country. Now, I want to be clear with you, okay? We're ranked 10 this time. Last time we were rated number 4. But because of you, we're rated number 10 this time. Because of you, we're going to get off this list altogether next time, right? But what that means is there's tons of money that now will make its way into this race. Money will come in from across the country, and actually, look at the way things look, it could come from across the world. The last time we raised over $6 million. That raise is going to be even more. My opponent said he's going to put another $2 million in this race. Oh, he did $1 million before. $1 million before, $2 million this time. My friends, this seat cannot be for sale. Now I'm going to say this the Eastern North Carolina way. If I had millions upon millions of millions of millions or millions of dollars, I don't know if I would put it all in, because this is about the people. This is about those $5 donation, that $10, that $25, that $100, and you start adding it all up. And I shared this story when I was in my first race for mayor of Snow Hill, North Carolina, small town. I was out running, literally running the town. I had come back, I was in much better shape then. And I was running the town. As I was running for mayor. And I had a neighbor. Her name was Miss Daisy. Miss Daisy said, "Baby, come stop by." A couple of days go by, I'm out doing, those things to run the campaign. Miss Daisy opened the door up and she said, "Baby, I need you to come stop by." Y'all, bro, tell you, I finally stopped to go see my neighbor, Miss Daisy. She said, "Baby, come in." So I came in the house. She moved some stuff off the sofa. She said, "Have a seat." I appreciate you extending hospitality with a bottle of water. She said, "Can I get you some tea? I'm going to get you something to drink." Now, she got me tea, Chris. Then she went back to the back room. She came back with a thing of toilet paper tissue, and it was rolled up in her hand. She opened her hand, and she opened up the tissue. She said, "Baby, I've been saving. You take this and you go win that race." Now, I don't know if I could have won on 50 cents. But I can tell you, when you have people supporting you like that, then you don't have to worry about whether you're going to win or whether you're going to lose, because they have your back. First District, I need you to have my back. This is a Davis-Trump district. I want to set this tone now. Trump came into Eastern North Carolina 3 times in the last 2 weeks of the election. And we still held on to this seat. That's right. And we held on to this seat because we were reaching out. We sent out lists, got the virtual bank going and everything, and we're making calls, knocking on doors, wearing them out. That's right, yeah. And I'm telling you, I was going out there knocking on doors myself. And you see all this material that was left behind, they're knocking our doors. So don't think, oh, they're not going to come knock these doors. We have to knock every door. We can. My friends, here are my asks. Here are my asks as I wind down. Number 1, we must have strong county parties. There's no substitute to organizing precincts. Guess what? I gotta lead you on to a big secret. This is the time to party, build, and organize, not 3 weeks before the election. This is the time to do it. This is that reset that we're in right now. We have to have strong county parties. This is not the time for mess. We're spending all of our time fighting each other because we didn't like the way somebody looked or walked in. Now, I'm telling you, I can say this. I don't even know if Chris can say this yet. We've dealt with each other for a long time. It's time to put the mess aside. This is real business, y'all. If you look at what's going on around us, then we realize the work that's before us. This is serious. And I can tell you part of the challenge that I saw from getting out there, people lost hope. Some didn't want to come vote at all. We have to. Hear this. Build the party. You're asking me for a town hall? Guess what? I'm asking everybody in here to have a town hall every single day. Talk to somebody. We have to. Too many people are losing faith and giving up. We can't give up on them, and we can't just not talk and wait until days before the election to start the conversations. We need to have our own town halls every single day. Which is my second ask. Let's talk politics. Let's talk business. Let's talk how we're really impacted by these issues. This is a matter of sharing our stories. Letting people know that this is real. And when we do it every day, when we do this every day, we're engaging.
Yes.
We are engaging.
Yes, sir.
Not just me,
That's right. Yeah.
but we are engaging with our communities across this district. Having real conversations. And I'm being straight when I say this is straight talk. Don't just talk to Democrats. Talk to them, talk to Republicans. Talk to them.
That's right.
My friends, we have to engage as we've never before. And when we engage this way, then this becomes, I believe, the big picture. Taking our collective engagement to the polls.
Amen.
And taking our engagement. So when now it's time to mobilize, the people are ready to go out and vote. I don't know of any other way of saying this. We're fighting in Washington through legislation. We're fighting in the courtrooms. Our attorneys, amicus briefs, everything's going on. Now we, which is our part of this process, must collectively engage. And that must translate into voter turnout at the polls. Now, once we've done number one, we've done number two. And actually, part of number one that I left out, and it's the most important one. Even if you don't give to me, the elections are going to get closer. They're going to be other candidates. Give to a candidate. I mean, it doesn't matter how small a gift it is. A donation. It makes a difference, y'all. I'm telling you, it adds up. There's no easy pathway to get the $7-8 million we're going to raise. There's no easy pathway. Just do it one day at a time. You get the $7 million 1 cent at a time. Right. Please. So you do 1, you do 2. Here's step 3. And this is a very important step. They're flooding the zone. Every single day, something new. You can't make this stuff up. We're going to set up a resort in Gaza. We're going to now buy, oh God, I got to correct myself. We're going to be gifted an airplane from Qatar, out of all places. My friends, they're flooding the zone and all these issues. And this is number 3. And I'm serious about this. We got to back away from this stuff at times. Allow ourselves, our bodies, our minds, the sense to just replenish. We have to step back, Ron, and get some rest. Just walk away from it, because it really can consume you. I'm telling you, flipping from channel to channel, station to station, newspaper meetings everywhere. We got to take care of ourselves in this. This is not right now a sprint. This is a journey we're on together. And we have to remember we're on this journey together. And once we allow ourselves that time to just decompress, we're going to wake up and we're going to do it again tomorrow. First Congressional Democrats, I believe this is how we save Social Security. This is how we continue to protect Medicaid. This is how we protect our young people. We give our young people an honest chance for a future here in Eastern North Carolina. We give them a chance to live the American dream right here in Eastern North Carolina. This is how we continue to fight for our seniors, to fight for our veterans, to fight for our dependents, the dependents of those veterans, our military families, our farmers, everybody in between. And this is how we fight for democracy. Thank you so much, Mr. District, and God bless each and every one of you. Let's have a quick convention.
Congressman, it's not a partisan event, but there's an event here on campus later on this afternoon. Can you give us a thumbnail of what's happening?
Let me share with everybody one piece of legislation we were able to work on the last Congress. It was to Americanize Milton Fitch Sr. This is Toby, Christine, Ernestine, Jerome, Pat, if you remember Pat, their father. He served in World War II. He's a veteran, one of the first African-American post office carriers. Just a fierce advocate for the community, voting rights, civil rights, and it's truly befitting to honor the Wilson County Post Office in his name. So that is today, right here on campus. It starts at 1:30. If you're still around, we'll have a nice reception, good meal ready, and we want to personally invite each and every one of you, if you want to stick around for that, please consider sticking around. He didn't just fight for Wilson County. He was a legend who fought for Eastern North Carolina. Thank you, and God bless you all.
We don't have T, Congressman, but we do have Christopher King. How do you follow that? Folks, we were, as you recall, in the middle of elections. And just to recap, because I got excited the last few minutes listening to conversations. I don't know about y'all. I got excited about what he wants to make sure everybody knows the first congressional district.
That's the ticket.
He knows that, for example, what's the university in North Carolina that's got a great aerospace science program? Where is it?
Yes.
Where is it? Is it Chapel Hill?
No.
Is it ASU?
No.
And where is it, Frank? That's St. County, Little City. City State University. Where is that base in Goldsboro? All of the things we need to work on.
Yes.
Right here in East North Carolina. I had the privilege of traveling him for about 2 years. And the people we saw, the stories he could tell, is phenomenal. Well, let's come back to elections. Let's do a quick recap. There was a motion, actually not a motion, a nomination from Mr. Williams of Warren County that the existing officers serve again. Those nominations are in place. We then had an election for chair. Thank you for re-electing me. I appreciate your support, and I hope to serve you well in doing that. We're going to move then into the election for first vice chair. Y'all know Janice Cole. She's a former U.S. attorney, former district court judge, town manager of Hertford, just all around great person. And she puts up with JC, so that gives her props in itself. It is our first vice chair. She couldn't be here today. You know, the state party does good work. That staff has a big job. And I give them grief all the time. That's part of my job. But they do really do a good job. But putting together a calendar that doesn't deal with holidays like Easter and Mother's Day, Memorial Day. Oh yeah, there's the ACC tournament because that's a holiday in North Carolina. You know, it's challenging. And for years, the district convention has failed the third weekend in May. It's challenging. Because that's when everything else falls, because we couldn't do it last weekend. That was Mother's Day. Can't do it next weekend because that's Memorial Day, and most of us go somewhere to relax and let our hair down a little bit. So we're here. So there's so much happening. That's where some of our officers are today, and I apologize for that, but they had plans before this date was chosen. So yeah, we have a nomination of Janice Cole for first vice chair. Are there further nominations from the floor? First vice chair, further nominations from the floor. Has to be a female because I'm a male. First vice chair, any other nominations? Seeing none and hearing none, I will close nominations for first vice chair. All those in favor of electing Janice Cole as your first vice chair, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. We have a first vice chair. Our second vice chair is Sylvia Barnes. She is from Wayne County. New to the district, got drawn in last year, and she was elected that role. Are there further nominations for second vice chair? Further nominations for second vice chair? Are there further nominations for second vice chair? Seeing none and hearing none, I want to close the nominations for second vice chair. All those in favor of electing Sylvia Barnes as your second vice chair, signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you very much. We have a second vice chair. Third vice chair is Cole Phelps. Now, y'all know Cole. He's been around a while. In fact, I think he was first elected when Congressman Davis was the district chair back when Cole was in grade school. But he has served at different levels as vice chair in the first district, or sometimes once he got drawn to the third, he was one of my vice chairs over in the third district. But he's a practicing attorney. He is all over the East, and we're glad to have him. So Cole Phelps is your third vice chair, and he's been nominated to continue that role. Thank you, Yarborough. Are there further nominations for third vice chair? Further nominations for third vice chair? Further nominations for third vice chair. Seeing none, hearing none. I'm close nominations for third vice chair. All those in favor of electing Cole Phelps, signify by saying aye. Thank you. We have a third vice chair. Secretary. And I'll tell you folks, this is probably the toughest job. Secretary's got to keep up with me. And that's not easy. I think that you can. She has served since I took office, and I'm glad to see her continuing. She's been nominated by Yarborough. Are there further nominations for secretary from this body? Second time, nominations for secretary. Third and final time for nominations as secretary. Seeing none and hearing none, all those in favor of electing Dr. Georgette, can't speak, Kimmel as our secretary, signify by saying aye. We have Halifax County. Question was asked up here at the head table of Halifax County. Those are the elected officers. The rest of them are appointed by me as chair. And it is my intent to reappoint Larry Jones from Warren County as your treasurer. He served with distinction for a number of cycles. Keeps it straight, keeps the money in the bank, reports filed on time, even if he can't get on a plane first thing on a Saturday morning. It also is my intent, if you'll continue to serve as my chaplain. Reverend Forney, I appreciate that. And chaplain's not a role that's in the plan organization. That is something that I think is important. There is clearly a separation of church and state. But I tell you, all the things that I learned in church and Sunday school as a boy are the things that I just heard Congressman Davis talk about fighting in good government. We take care of our parents and our seniors. That's Social Security. We take care of the children, our neighbors. That's Star. We take care of those who can't take care of themselves. We take care of Mother Earth, fighting for our environment and our agriculture. They are separate but inseparable. Because all of those things that we hold dear, I think, we learned in church, or at least I did. Now, you may have learned it somewhere else, and where you learned was on you, and that's all good. But I want to make sure we still have that presence in this district. That is the end of our elections. I don't know that we have Dante, the local state house member, favorite son here in Wilson County, is doing his duty. He is in Fayetteville today because he is, in addition to serving in the legislature, still an active reservist. And you can't separate the two. Just like Congressman Davis served in the Air Force, Dante is still serving today. So he's not with us today. I don't know that there are any other legislative leaders in the House.
Representative Pierce is here.
Where I don't see.
I'm right here, sir.
Representative Pierce, come on. I'm sorry I did not recognize you back there. But we'd love for you to say hello to the folks for just a minute, if you would.
Okay, Mr. Ballhead.
I'm not going to touch it.
Good morning, First Congressional District Democrats. Good morning, First Congressional District Democrats. Thank you, thank you, thank you. First of all, I want to commend the organizers, the newly elected officers, the different county parties who are here, particularly Halifax, Warren, and Northampton. I see y'all. I see y'all. I want you to remember Halifax, Northampton, and Warren, who's here and who ain't here. Okay? We ain't gonna get into that. To build off of what Congressman Davis said, this is a very dire time in our democracy. We have attacks being made to cut things that people, particularly in rural North Carolina and House District 27, which I serve, have depended on for years to sustain them, to help them get to a point of self-sufficiency. I've put out press releases, I've made statements, things of that nature, social media posts about these types of things. We are also now going into the budget season in Raleigh. That's what everybody wants to know, when the budget starts. So this week, we started having appropriations subcommittee meetings. I sit on the General Government Appropriations Subcommittee, and they are making some cuts and you probably read about them or seen them on the news, but you're talking about cutting hundreds of state jobs, most of that have been vacant for at least 6 months to a year. And they're trying to follow the pattern of the federal government and this whole government efficiency thing. But when you have a 20% vacancy rate, I don't think you can cut jobs. Right? They're talking about saving about $5.5 million by cutting those jobs. We're talking about jobs in DEQ that address environmental justice in Warren County. We're talking about 400 correctional officer positions. We're talking about cuts to the Office of Historically Underutilized Business, basically getting rid of that altogether. An office that helps people who are racial minorities, women, people with disabilities get state government contracts for their respective business. And I tried to save it. I was just talking to the congressman about that. I tried to save it because I sit on General Gov appropriations, but they're not letting us dip into the reserves this year. They've made that clear. You can look that up on the state government website. For the budget season, they said you will not go into any of these funds or any of these reserve funds. So basically, you have to find a cut in one area to pay for what you want to fund in the same area. You're basically going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. Okay? So I said, okay, well, the Wake Forest University Institute of Regenerative Medicine, they get about $10 million a year. They've been getting it since 2007. They're not going to miss $884,000. They're not going to miss that. Offered the amendment. Voted down. My colleague, Phil Rubin, who's a representative for Wake County, part of Wake County, he says, look, I see that we have 7 new exempt positions in the State Board of Elections. If you've been keeping up with what Congressman talked about with the whole Allison Riggs case, we won that race. Right? But they have now taken over the State Board of Elections. Right? They wouldn't even let Director Bell give a farewell address at the last meeting. Right? Just disrespectful. They're giving that office 7 new exempt positions. Political appointees. Not keeping the people who have been there to carry over, those civil servants. That's what they're doing. They're also giving them $1.5 million for future litigation. So my colleague, Representative Rubin, says, hey, we've never done this before. We need to cut this. This would actually help pay for what Representative Pierce wants to do. Vote it down. They're giving 5 new employees to the state auditor's office, Mr. Dave Bolin. They're basically trying to make the state auditor's office the state equivalent of DOJ at the federal level. Right? Phil says, wait a minute, this is not right. He offers an amendment. Vote it down. They want to move the State Board of Elections office into the same building as the state auditor. Right? I mean, just blatant it in your face. And we did what we could. Of course, we were outnumbered in the committee meeting, but we did what we could to try to stop it, but it was voted down. So we anticipate a vote on the House version of the budget on Thursday. But what I am asking you to do and to tell other people throughout this state to do is to contact your representatives. Contact your state senators. Contact your state representatives. Dante says, hey, by the way. But contact them. Let them know that we cannot afford to make these cuts in our state government. We cannot afford to continue to politicize these positions that are supposed to be about civil service and not politics. Please do that. Please register the people in your communities who have not voted for years. And y'all know who they are. Those people that the congressman said have lost faith in government. We're trying to restore it. But if we don't flip the court, y'all, the state Supreme Court, so we can get rid of these gerrymandered maps, hello, Congressman, that they've been putting into place, we won't get there. So I commend the congressman and I second his call to act. Let's fight for the soul of our democracy. Because if not, we won't have a soul left. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Representative. Before we get to resolutions, I want to talk about another election within the party. Most of y'all know we, the SEC, the State Executive Committee, this past February, right next door at Sally Howard School, re-elected our outstanding young chair, Anderson Clayton. In fact, our whole team got re-elected. And they do a pretty good job of getting out and doing some things that we haven't seen in a while, trying to organize in all 100 counties. They've had regional training sessions, one just recently in Greenville, another one just recently in Smithfield, but neither one too far away. And that's a really good thing. But I think it can be really a little bit better. So I'm going to take a minute of personal privilege and talk about another one of the state officers. Chair, 3 vice chairs. Where are they from? Anderson's from Person County. Jonah is from Orange County. Dr. Hardee Kimberly is from Fayetteville, Cumberland County. Elijah is from Durham County. Our treasurer is also from Orange County. We all know our friend Melvin is from Duke. But 5 of those 6 officers are from an urban area. 4 of those 6 officers are from the Triangle. This past 2-year cycle, there's another office that y'all might not know of. There's the chair of chairs. David Parker, when he was our party chair, created an organization of all the county and district chairs. Our own Gwen Wilkins was the leader of that at one time. And I think that's the last time we've had representation. 2011, when you were chair, Gwen?
Yes.
Okay, 2011. So over a decade ago, since there's been any representation from Eastern North Carolina. And I'll expand Eastern North Carolina and include the 3rd District, because I was chair of that for a long time. And I think it's time that we can have a little more. County chairs in the room, please stand up. Y'all are going to get an opportunity early this summer to elect a new chair of chairs. Cassie Rice from Orange County did not serve again, so she's out. But I'll tell you who is running. I'm going to put you on the spot, Sandy. You know it. I'm not going to tell everybody it's your birthday Thursday. I'm just going to tell the fact that Dr. Canova here is running to be the chair of chairs. That puts her as effectively the 4th vice chair of the state party and puts a voice from Eastern North Carolina on the state board. Nash County, y'all aren't losing her. She's still going to take care of Nash County. But she's also a voice. So I want each of you county chairs on that vote. Dr. Conover, I want each of you, if you know somebody in a different county, lobby them. State party does a good job. Don't get me wrong. Can they do it better? Yes. Can they do it better with voices that sound like us and look like us and come from us? Absolutely. This is the way to do it. County chairs, thank you. Thanks, y'all. Uh-oh. There's a button on that if you push it. Or if you want to come back up here, you're welcome.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to stay here with the people.
Yes, sir.
I would like to make a motion if it's out of order. But my motion is that the 1st Congressional District of North Carolina endorse Sandy Conover for the chair of county chairs.
I take that as a motion from the gentleman from Greene County. Seconded from Edgecombe County right here. So the 1st District endorse Dr. Sandy Conover for the chair of chairs. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. And we didn't even start talking about birthday yet. Resolutions. And Congressman, do you think anything you do here is going to be out of order today? In your packet, that little flyer, there are 3 resolutions. I have on the screen the resolving clauses. I'm going to start with the one from Currituck County. I'm going to read the resolution in its entirety, and then I'll entertain a motion as to what to do with it. Resolution calling for true precinct-specific county commissioner elections in Currituck County, whereas there are presently 5 precinct-specific county commissioners and 2 at-large county commissioners positions to comprise the makeup of Currituck County Board of Commissioners, and whereas the present election rules permit any registered voter in Currituck County to vote on any of these candidates' elections, including precinct-specific and at-large commission positions, and whereas the rule may have unintended consequences of voters outside of a specific precinct, overriding the wishes of the residents of that specific precinct as to representation of that precinct's needs and wishes, and whereas the rule may also have the unintended consequences of heavy populated precincts usurping the wishes of lesser populated precincts as to their preferred candidate and exerting undue control of the entire election process, and whereas the Currituck County Democratic Party strongly believes that a precinct-specific candidate should be the earnest in their responsibility to the constituents of the precinct and truly elected by those constituents rather than outside forces, and whereas there may be other counties affected by the same rules, and now therefore be it resolved that the North Carolina Democratic Party assist those counties who endeavor to have the same desire to help change their election rules to reflect true precinct-specific county elections for their Board of Commissioners. Is there a motion? Dorsey, this would be say, I move to adopt. That's Dorsey Harris, the chair of Currituck County Party. Moves to adopt. There's a second by Edgecombe County right here. Is there any discussion? Seeing none and hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Dorsey Harris. By operator from Edgecombe County. Number 2. And my paper's not in right order, but I can fix that real quick. Resolution from Warren County. Yep. This is a resolution opposing federal cuts to Medicaid funding. Medicaid plays a foundational role in ensuring health security in North Carolina, particularly in rural and economically distressed counties such as Warren. As a Tier 1 county, Warren is disproportionately impacted by public health disparities, high rate of poverty, limited access to private insurance, and a shortage of local health care providers. Federal Medicaid funding directly sustains critical local services such as rural hospitals, home-based care, nursing homes, and behavioral health programs. Our state continues to implement Medicaid expansions. Any federal effort to weaken or cut Medicaid would not only reverse recent progress, but also threaten the importance of maintaining and strengthening federal Medicaid support that cannot be overstated. Whereas Medicaid is a lifeline for over 2.4 million North Carolinians, including children, seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income working families who rely on this program for access to essential healthcare services. And whereas Warren County is designated as a Tier 1 county by the North Carolina Department of Congress, an indicator of significant economic stress with higher than average rates of poverty, chronic disease, and limited access to private health insurance coverage. And whereas over 75% of the nursing home residents in North Carolina are covered by Medicaid, and more than half of the births in the state are paid for by Medicaid. And whereas in Warren County and other rural communities, federally supported Medicaid dollars are directly fund local health care facilities such as community health centers, rural hospitals, which are already under immense financial strain and face closure without this vital support. And whereas rural counties like Warren have a disproportionately high number of elderly residents and individuals living with disabilities who depend on Medicaid-funded home and community-based services to age in place and avoid institutionalization. Yeah, can I say that word? And whereas proposed cuts to federal Medicaid funding would lead to reduced provider reimbursement, staff layouts, longer wait times, and limited access to critical services such as mental health treatment, maternal care, pediatric services, and substance abuse disorder programs. And whereas any reduction in Medicaid funding would exacerbate existing healthcare disparities, disproportionately affecting Black, Brown, Indigenous, and rural communities, further widening the gap in health outcomes and undermining the principles of equality and justice. And whereas Medicaid expansion in North Carolina has only recently begun to reach those coverage gaps, and pulling back federal support at this pivotal moment would erode the progress made and destabilize the healthcare infrastructure in vulnerable regions.
Now, therefore, be it resolved that the North Carolina Democratic Party urges Congress and the President of the United States to reject any effort to cut Medicaid funding and instead invest in strengthening Medicaid to meet its evolving needs of communities across the state. Be it further resolved that the North Carolina Democratic Party shall publicly affirm its commitment to protecting Medicaid and shall advocate for continued federal investment in rural healthcare infrastructure, especially in Tier 1 counties like Warren, and where such funding is not just necessary but vital for the survival of community health systems. And be it finally resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to the North Carolina Congressional Delegation, the Governor of North Carolina, the leadership of the Democratic National Committee, to urge immediate action and stand in solidarity with the citizens of Warren County and other rural communities across the nation who deserve dignity, access, and care. Is there a motion? Your name, sir? Robert Stevens from what county? From Warren County. Robert Stevens from Warren County. Moves to adopt. Is there a second? Second. Gentleman. Mr. Cooper from Warren County. What's your first name? Al. Al Cooper, Warren County. That's second. Any discussion? Seeing none, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Our third resolution, also from Warren County. Those donuts were good this morning, but my mouth is sticky. The resolution in support of expanding cooperative business models to strengthen small business and community self-empowerment. Across North Carolina, particularly in rural and economically distressed communities, there is a growing recognition that traditional economic models often fall short in meeting the needs of residents and supporting equitable wealth creation. The cooperative business model, rooted in democratic ownership and shared benefit, offers a powerful community-centered alternative for addressing long-standing challenges in areas such as housing, food access, child care, elder care, and sustainable employment. Yet, despite its proven success, the cooperative model remains underrepresented in the toolkits of most small business development entities and policy frameworks. Excuse me. Elevating and integrating cooperative strategies in our state's economic development approach is vital to ensuring all communities have access to ownership, dignity, and local control of essential services and enterprises. Whereas small businesses are the backbone of our state, local, and national economy, driving job creation, community stability, and economic mobility. And whereas the cooperative business model provides a democratic, community-driven approach to economic development, allowing individuals to collectively own and operate businesses that directly address local needs. And whereas communities across North Carolina, particularly in rural areas, face significant challenges in areas such as affordable housing, food security, child care, elder care, transportation, and veterinary care, which cooperative enterprises are uniquely positioned to address through shared ownership and decision-making. And whereas the Small Business Administration, small business centers, economic development organizations primarily focus on the traditional business structure, leaving many entrepreneurs unaware of the cooperative model as a viable and sustainable option. And whereas integrating cooperative business education into entrepreneurship curricula at community colleges, universities, graduate level governance, and business model management programs would equip future business leaders with the knowledge and skills to launch, sustain cooperative enterprises. And whereas, again, normalizing cooperative businesses across multiple sectors such as housing, food distribution, child care, senior care, transportation, agriculture would create stronger local economies, increase resilience against economic downturns, and foster wealth building within communities. And whereas the legislation that supports and promotes cooperative businesses, including access to funding, technical assistance, and corporation support, will provide communities with the tools needed for self-help and long-term sustainability. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Roanoke Township Precinct of Warren County, North Carolina, we like those folks up there in Warren County, urge the Warren County government and the state of North Carolina General Assembly to support and advocate for legislation that, number one, increases public awareness and education, ensures that the cooperative business model is widely promoted through the North Carolina Small Business Administration, small business centers, and economic development. Number two, integrates cooperative education into curriculum, incorporates cooperative education, governance, and management training into community college, university, and graduate programs. Number three, provides financial and technical support, expands access to grants, loans, technical assistance specifically for cooperative startups and expansions. Number 4, this was a long one, encourages policy and legislative support, establishing a legal framework for policies that make it easier for communities to create cooperatives in key sectors such as housing, childcare, elder care, food access, and worker-owned businesses. And number 5, fosters local statewide collaboration, encourages partnership between municipalities, community organizations, and cooperative developments, and to implement cooperative solutions to critical community challenges. Be it further resolved that this resolution be submitted to the Warren County Democratic Party, Warren County Commissioners, North Carolina General Assembly, and other relevant stakeholders to advocate for the expansion of cooperative business models as a means of self-empowerment and economic resilience in our communities. Is there a motion? Yes, ma'am. Liz Purvis, Granville County moves the adoption of the resolution. Gentlemen, Mr. Cooper, Al Cooper, is that your second? There you go. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Yes, ma'am.
As a point of information from Warren County.
Shauna Williams, Warren County, has point of information.
From Warren County during the civil rights movement, when she was working alongside Martin Luther King, she was also going around the country pushing cooperatives. I urge you to do some research. There are some very large companies that are actually cooperative. It's a phenomenal organization. Carolyn Ross Holmes was related to Ella Baker, and she's taught us a whole lot about cooperatives in Ella Baker, and I encourage you to do the research. It's a fascinating business model. We should all adopt it.
Hear, hear. Thank you, ma'am. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. That complies with 3 resolutions we received. Just for the record, we did receive a 4th resolution from Currituck County. It dealt with the making of school boards partisan. The State Resolutions Committee already has that adopted as a state party, so it is not duplicative to bring it here and send it through the process. District party and state affairs. So we have talked about chair. And we have talked about things that are happening with our state party. They're doing trainings around the state. They're organizing. Many of y'all know Sarah Bryan. She's the state organizing director. And one of the things, she's got 4 deputies, including one that's assigned to the Northeast. But we need to make sure that we do organizing. You heard Congressman Davis talk about that we're in an organizing window. And we just finished county convention, which means we just finished precinct meetings. No, it doesn't. We just finished county conventions, but we have to keep working on precincts. How many of you county chairs, you all stood up, I'm not going to make you do it again, but how many of you have 100% of your precincts organized? Raise your hand. I got Warren County, I got Washington County. 2. Congratulations to you. The rest of y'all, we got to keep working. Just because that precinct window has opened and closed back in March doesn't mean we're done. We've got to organize our precincts. We've got to get to know our neighbors. U.S. county chairs have the authority and the plan to appoint an interim precinct chair to go out and organize those precincts. Now, where there are precincts that have a majority of minorities, and that's a lot of our precincts in the 1st district, we want to reach out to those caucuses for guidance on who might best be able to lead it. If you don't have that caucus, we'll get somebody from the state. But we have to make sure we touch those precincts. We've got to do a better job. Now, I know there's some counties here that are struggling with that. I know there's some counties in this room that are having some internal squabbling amongst their precincts. Folks, y'all can squabble on November 26th with the other side. Y'all got to get it together. Elect precinct leaders. Work on them. Get your precincts to meet. Yes, there's a precinct meeting in the plan once a year. Don't meet once a year. My home precinct in Manning, Dare County, I know this is the 3rd district, but it's where I grew up. It's how I grew up. It meets once a month. And they talk about local politics, what's going on in the town board. They talk about the county. They talk about the state. Sometimes they talk about, hold on just a second, festivals are happening. But they talk. They get together. They understand each other. They know each other. The whole concept of precincts is from the grassroots, so we know our neighbors and we work on them. So next year, when we start talking about get out the vote, you're not starting at zero. You know your neighbors. They're people that you can reach out to touch. We've got to do that organization. What does the lady rise from Nash County? Push and hold it for a second until it turns green. There you go. It should work.
Hello.
There you go.
Gwen Wilkins from Nash County. Mr. Chairman, I rise just to say on that very subject, it's not enough to organize your precincts. If you organize and have all of them organized, but people are sitting there just holding the title and not doing anything, it does our party no good. When you look for someone, please don't look for someone just to organize. Look for someone who's going to work that precinct, who's going to work in coordination with the other precincts and the county party, and it's not just looking to wear a badge of honor, but it's going to get out there and do the hard work. Thank you.
So, Commissioner Gwen Wilkins from Nash County knows a little about what she speaks. Because she's been up here as your district chair. In fact, she outpaced Don and I both in that she went on to be the state first vice chair of the state party. So she's been organizing all across the state. And we need to work, organize our district, but then get those folks to work. And that's what I'm hearing you say. Is we've got to put them to work. We've got to make sure that we have those connections. Because I looked at those numbers and 5,000 votes and change. I don't have the exact number of congressmen. It's way too close in this district. 1.5 points. It's way too close. The fact that his opponent says he's going to be a Trump.
Yes.
Yeah. He's already said he doesn't care about you. Only about the orange dime. We've got to do better. And they can redraw this district 6 ways to Sunday. And they probably will. That's the way this legislature is going to work. We can do this. We will do this. And we must do this. The other thing I want to talk to you about, and this is very important, okay? Just give me a minute of personal privilege here. This district is huge. I mentioned, the Congress mentioned 22 counties. It's a quarter of the state. From Prairie Tuck to Granville, Warren up there in the northwest, Vance County, Wayne, it's huge. There is no place we can have a single event that somebody doesn't have a 2.5-hour drive. You just can't do it. But I think we need to get together. When I was building my book that I always carry to meetings, there was this handout. And this handout was from 2017. The information that is just as relevant today was then. And it's the road to a Democratic revival goes to North Carolina. And I believe the road to a Democratic revival goes to the 1st Congressional District of North Carolina. And to that end, I think we need to have that revival. Maybe a tent meeting. Maybe not. We like air conditioning.
Coming to Jesus.
So, one of the things that I'm going to start to do when we finish this, we'll sit down with our officers and probably some of you county leaders and talk about some flavor of a rally. Not a fundraiser. Okay. You saw Larry's numbers. We got a few dollars in the bank. We're okay. It's going to cost more than that, but we're okay. But we need to have that event. If every delegate who was able to be here, we'd have 550 delegates in this room. There's about 150 of you, and that's typical. We know it's a long drive, and we know party business is dry. But that's why I think we need to have that meeting. Not a meeting. I'm going to come with a different name. I don't know what it is yet. Maybe it's going to be a revival. I'm not sure. A rally. But my question to you is this. And none of this, I'm not looking for motion. I'm not looking for action. But just sort of a sense of the party. Because this district is so large. And this sort of is bubbling up as I was talking to a couple of folks today. Is it a better choice for us to have a central event? I don't know where it's at. Let's just say Martin County because that's about center of the district.
Hey!
1764, so you can get almost everywhere from there, except for you folks from Wayne County, y'all just have a long way to drive. But we'll get there. Or would it be a better choice to have one or two, maybe three regional events, the Northeast, Northwest?
Yay!
Yes.
What are your thoughts? Give us some feedback if we do this, because I think we need to get together where we can talk, we can network, we can say, hey, what's going on, what's working well, where we have folks like Representative Pierce and Congressman Davis who do a much better job of firing you up than I do. I'm an operations guy, okay? I'm not a cheerleader. But that's what's in my mind right now. Yes, sir.
Robert, for Warren County, I think the idea of regional is what we need.
Okay.
Because we need to show up more than one time. We need to show Democrats and independents and undecided and Republicans. We need to show them that we're working, we're truly working
Okay.
for our democracy. And I think the more we do, right, and then the counties can build on it.
What I'm hearing, and I would ask in the future if y'all would step to the mic, because not everybody could hear that, but what I'm hearing, tell me if I got this right, that you're suggesting that a regional approach might be better because we have more impact locally across both Democrats, independents, and others in their backyards and participation. Is that a summation of what you said?
Yeah, that piece, and I think the frequency of us showing up.
Having more of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Is important, and we'll build on it.
That's an opinion. Are there others? Can I ask you to come to the mic? Who wants to speak? Just so everybody in the room can hear. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Hey, Liz Purvis, Granville County. Just to add to that point, I feel like with 3 events, there is a good chance there will be greater attendance from those combined 3 events than a singular event because we're so spread out. So, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Jimmy Silver, Halifax County. As I was talking to the congressman, let's do 3. And why not have one big one at the end of it? That will get everybody fired up.
So it's not A or B, it's C. I like it. And you know, that answer only came because his lovely wife came in and smartened him up a little bit. Yes, sir. Sorry, boss, I can't resist.
Hi, Cynthia Grove from Halifax County. I think that Jimmy Silver had an outstanding idea. What I also wanted to add is that doing it regionally in smaller groups, it allows the precincts and the county parties to come together and maybe network with the counties that are close by so that you can build a support network. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Your name and where you're from?
Deborah Cavalcanti, Frontenac County. And my question is, how do we get the youth involved, the younger voters involved? Having all these rallies and meetings and conventions, that's great, but we need to bring them in. And I was just wondering if anybody had any ideas on how to bring them in.
That is a tough challenge. It has been a tough challenge in my tenure. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for over 25 years. And I started this because I was that young guy. And y'all keep bringing me back up here to the front of the room. I'm not the young guy anymore. But I think that's something that we have to do locally. And we can talk about that offline because there's not going to be a one-size-fits-all answer. I think what works in Currituck County may be different than, say, what works that has a more of a college like Barton is here in Wilson County, where you can touch that. We don't have it anymore, but for example, at one point in time we did, and we could touch college Democrats at ECU. So, I think that's one of the things that comes out of that rally is networking and talking and what works nearby. Frank from Pasquotank County, that might help you guys over in Currituck. It is tough. And it is tough in counties like yours. I know your county. I grew up in Deer and I still call it home, even though I sleep in Wilson every night. I still have my house in Manio's. But it is tough when we talk about as a party issues that take care of people. And the other side just says they're wrong because they're Democrats. And we've got to change that narrative. We can't change those people. But if we start talking about, with those young people, about what makes it, and I used the story, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again, the fact that sometimes we don't know, people in our own community don't know their resources. I remember traveling with the congressman when I was on his staff, and some people talking about that aerospace university, and nobody knew where it was. It is a gym. We've got to do a better job. So we've got to do a better job in your county, and in your county, and in your county, of talking about what the party is doing for young people. Because folks, student loans, where's the young lady over here? You know, is a big deal, and they're trying to do away with the programs that help deal with that. You know, childcare for young parents. You know, I'm not a young parent anymore, but I've still got a parent with kids this age at home. I know it, so we've got to do a better job, and it's really going to be a county by county issue. Yes,
thank you. Hey, Amy Swain from Martin County. Oh gosh, I just lost that. I think we need to work on campaigning and visibility. A lot of voters are angry with everything that we're experiencing. And we need to draw people in, right? So do you care about our land, right? Do you care about our environment? Come over here, because we're organizing around it. Do you care about public schools? Come over here, because we don't want vouchers, and we don't want private school funding or public dollars funding private schools. Y'all got it.
Yeah, we got just about.
And so visibility helps. One thing that we struggle with in Martin County is even getting the people who are elected officials that are Democrats to even participate in the county or the party. What? And so, like, to me, if we can say, we are here, come to us, come find me, come find our group, and then we can draw in. Also, high schoolers can vote, right? So we need to be running voting campaigns through the schools, getting kids registered to vote, because 17-year-olds can register to vote, unless I'm wrong with that. And so, like,
they can register as long as their birthday is before election day.
Right. So that's something we have to do. And to get younger kids, you're not going to get them in rooms like this because they're on their phones, right? So the campaign has to be digital. It has to be something that they can share and that they can see and that they can read and interact with. And teachers can help us do that. And we have allies in the North Carolina Association of Educators. We have allies there that can help us with their campaign. So there's lots that we could be doing. So I would vote for gentleman C, if I was going to say.
All of the above.
Like, we need to just get busy and double down on busy.
Thank you. But before I bring you back, let me raise a point. She made me think of something here just a minute. You know, I've highlighted Dr. Conover as a county chair, and she's served for a while, and we know you know, Mr. Williams served for a long time, and that he is retired as a county chair. The two county chairs, they're in the room. How many of you are new? You're your first term. Stand up. I can see you. I know Tina's new, Frank's new. First term county chairs. Okay. But y'all are here. And I know it's a long way from Elizabeth City, Frank. Okay. We've got to get more of those new people in the door. Okay. And that's why I think it's worth. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Linda Valentine. I'm relatively new to Wilson County. I have a couple of comments to make regarding your suggestion about regional or letter C. I would say that you're going to get better attendance with regional, and opportunity C would then build on that once you get the people riled up. But what I would do is, based on the regional area's interests that I was in, I would give a theme to each of those conferences. If you're in an agricultural area, we need...
It's all an agricultural issue in First District.
Well, that is true, but what I would say is we need information more than we need enthusiasm. If I were running it, I would say, if I'm going to do 3 different districts, conferences, I would say In this one, I'm going to talk about their agriculture policy versus ours. Give people information to walk away with. Another one might be give people their small business policy versus ours. Give them something to walk away with. Our immigration policy versus theirs. Give them something to walk away with. Then to the issue of bringing young people in. The one thing that has totally frustrated me is that during the election, we had loads of star power. We had the vice president here. We had President Clinton here. When the election went away, they all went away. If you want to, we're fighting a media savvy president, a media savvy organization that has its own darn television station. Okay, we need to bring in, kudos to Mr. Davis because he is the most present representative I've ever seen. But we're used to him. It's like me talking to my relatives. They're all Republicans. I talk to them all the time. It falls on deaf ears. She's just the crazy relative. Okay? And facts don't matter, you know. But when you bring in the people that they see on TV, you want to get young people here, have AOC here for a meeting. You want to bring people who are concerned about Medicare and poverty issues, especially among the elderly here. Where's Bernie? Right? You know, this is what we need. We need a unified national strategy, and we need stuff that's going to get us in the newspaper. Thank you.
Wrap this up.
Shauna Williams, Warren County. 2 points. I think it was Amy, to piggyback on what she said, what we need is messaging. Simple messaging to get it out. We did it a few years ago. It was very effective. We need to do that again. Just simple messaging. Republicans are really good at it. We're not so good at it. My second point, when my husband became county chair in 2015, pledged and we delivered on the promise of starting a Young Democrats of Warren County. It lasted maybe 2 years, and then cell phones changed and the people went away and moved out of the county. We tried like heck last year to do the same thing again. Got them to a meeting, but then for the follow-up meeting, they wouldn't even answer my phone calls or text messages anymore. My suggestion to all of us is, and especially you, Chris, as we go forward, is to work with the young people within the state party. For example, Elijah King, he's still in college or maybe just graduated. There are other organizers in the western, eastern part of the state who are young. There's a really active Young Dems in Johnston County. So there are people within the party who are young, who have and are working with active young Democrats. We need to piggyback on whatever it is they're doing, but get them in a room and get their ideas and get some activities and how they do it. Because we got to do it. The future is in their hands, but we just got to figure out how to get to them and keep them engaged.
Thank you.
I promise you, we didn't plan this. We didn't plan this. Sandy Conover Nash, thank y'all again. We didn't plan this. But I'm coming up to say to all of us, we need to incorporate the Young Dems. Even if that means having a Young Dem as an ex officio or whatever in our Congressional District Executive Council. We need to work more with them. In their bylaws, they can cluster. So, for example, in Nash, we had the new Young Dems, Nash, Edgecombe, Wilson. So they have the ability to cluster where some of us may not. So that should be part of your strategic plan, is to get those young Democrats together. That they are affiliates, and they should be an affiliate group, or they should have an ex officio spot here in our congressional district. If we don't involve them while we're talking, then why do you think they're going to listen to us when we get out there? They want to be involved in the planning. Now, they're kind of hard-headed. It's okay. We're hard-headed, too. We're old and hard-headed. They're young and hard-headed. So let's put the hard-headedness together instead of us coming before on the mics and saying, we need to work with the young people. What you doing in your area? If you don't have a young demophilia group, get with somebody and let's cluster together. Don't be afraid of them. We will want, I know, how many got some young people up in here? We're all young. Bless y'all. We're all young. But we were younger at one time. Okay, I'm through. Thank you.
Hey, Dr. Conner. So, folks, like I said, I wanted to wrap up after those two speakers. Just in the interest of our agenda here today, we're going to come back and have an announcement in it, and everybody will have another chance. So just hold on. So what I'm taking, the sense of this, is a hybrid of two. Maybe a couple of regionals that then comes together into a single large event. And again, I'm not making any promises today. I've got to work with my team. I'll be working with you. I'll be working with Congressman, some of his campaign team, see how we can do this together. I'll probably reach out to the YDs, and that's how I got my start in this game. I still think I know a bunch of those, how we put this together. But that is something that's going to be on our list this year. Very quickly, here's some announcements. You heard the Congressman earlier talk about the event later today, right over behind us for Milton Pitch Senior Post Office dedication. The state party is doing a celebration for Juneteenth on the 18th of June in Raleigh. They're supposed to be getting that information out to you counties directly. I heard this on the county chair's call this past night. I don't have any more details other than a date. I believe it's going to be at the Goodwin House, which is the Democratic Party headquarters in downtown Raleigh. The summer SEC meeting is June 28th. We got spoiled coming here, Southern Howard, in February, but now we got to get Ashland. And it's a hike. I encourage you to go. It's not necessarily cheap, but it's not super expensive. Go spend the weekend. Drive up Friday afternoon, spend the night. Do the meeting on Saturday, spend the night. Because I can promise you, as a guy who grew up on the coast of North Carolina and dealt with hurricanes firsthand, getting their feet back under them financially is huge. And the fact that the federal and state governments have been cutting their funding, it takes resources. Go spend the weekend with them. And I don't say go west very often, folks, but go spend the weekend with them. And finally, the Unity Dinner will be in Raleigh on July 26th. That date was just announced also this week. They're finalizing that details that come out to you as counties. Of course, municipal elections, most of you have November 4th for municipals. Every county is a little different, but most are November 4th. Now, I know some of you county folks said that you've got local events. So in the next 90 days, if you've got a local event, step up and tell me about it. Counties. Wilson County, I know you got a Juneteenth event. Somebody say something.
Juneteenth will be June 14th at Toys Not Park.
Toys Not Park, June 14th. Okay. Another county. What else? Tammy?
He's got the judicial lunch. That's on May 21st. A couple of counties are hosting that. If you're not hosting it, it will be a Zoom. It's the launching of the race for Justice Anita Earls. If your county is hosting that, then you also may have some local judges. So that's May 21st.
May 21st, judicial launch for Judge Earls and other judge candidates. Eddie?
Hertford County, we're doing a meet and greet brunch on June the 21st. What we found out that works well with us is when you have food, people come out. So we're actually going to have a meet and greet to be with our local officials and also get with our local Democrats to talk about some of the things we discussed about how to pull younger people together. We actually do have a good incentive of college and young people who participate. Don't have to name two of them, we keep them involved.
June 21st, meet and greet in Hertford County.
Yes.
I'll pray that.
We're going to be having a registration. I'm sorry, sometimes I get a brain fart. They're having this on Juneteenth. And so we're
Sandy, you're everybody's helper.
We do. We look at Sandy about everything. Anything that slips us, you're on phone call. But yeah, we're gonna do the registration for Juneteenth, and it's actually on that date.
Okay. Thank you. Any other counties? Wesley.
The Eastern North Carolina Civic Group is having a scholarship banquet, and our guest speaker is going to be Anita Earls. That will be August 9th at the Edgecombe Community College.
August the 9th at Edgecombe Community College, the Civic Group, scholarship banquet, and Anita Earls is the keynote. Did you get all that? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Cynthia Deborah, Halifax County, on May 22nd at 6 o'clock at the Tillery Community Center in Tillery. We're having a Use Your Voice Town Hall meeting. This is our third in a series where our county residents and people in general could come and we talk about how to use your voice, advocate for what's needed, as well as voter registration for the Democratic Party. So that's May 22nd at 6 o'clock in Tillery, North Carolina. No stoplights, just come. Call me if you know how to get there.
May 22nd, Halifax County, Use Your Voice Town Hall in Tillery, y'all. Anybody else got a county list?
Granville County, we are gonna lead our first rally in Oxford on June 13th for No King Day. 14th, thank you, for No King Day.
June 14th, Oxford County rally for No King's Day. I see a hand over here. Yes, ma'am.
Colin Nicholas, Showan County. We're going to have Juneteenth on June 21st in our downtown area. And also on June 26th, we're going to have the North Carolina Democratic Party will come and do a town hall in our town. So that's just a program.
2 events in Showan County, Juneteenth and a town hall for the party.
Anderson Clayton will be coming to Showan County, to Edenton, North Carolina, and Showan County.
Now I want y'all to know, pause just a second, that 2 years ago we started seeing presence of state officers. Jonah, our first vice chair, was here a lot. And I guess Anderson didn't want to be shown up too much because she is now out here all the time. Jonah's still here, but now we're getting the chair and the vice chair. Pretty soon we're going to have a bunch of officers, especially within the fourth vice chair, Dr. Conover, leading those efforts. So, yes, sir.
May 19th, State Representative Pierce had to leave, but I'm sure he would be disappointed if we didn't announce that on the 19th, 6 o'clock, at the Armory in Warrington, we'll be hosting its town hall meeting. So we want everybody that's close or that's far away, come hang out with us.
State House Town Hall on the 19th at 6 o'clock in Warrington.
That's it.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. Since you all talked about your town hall, we haven't confirmed who's going to be our guest speaker for June 1. It's our town hall for Edgecombe County. And Chair Clayton is putting together our list. I did ask for a Jasmine Crockett or a Corey or even Bernie, so whoever she can get to come to our little town. We want to build up Edgecombe County.
All right. Hold on a second, Nancy. Yes, sir.
June 14th, Gettysburg, Juneteenth Day, called the Gettysburg Town Hall.
Gettysburg Town Hall on June 14th for Juneteenth. There we go. Nancy, you have something?
Yeah, 2 things. The first thing about getting young people involved, I got a call, I'm in Edgecombe County, got a call the other night from someone that's going to school for political science. We need to reach out to all the students that's in school, take up political science.
Okay.
And try to get them involved in our county. If ain't but one, that one will drive another one. We got to be more creative. And then the other thing, now I'll talk later because I love to talk. The next thing is talking about having a town hall, community day or whatever. For me, the number one thing right now is our Congress. We need to have a Congress Day, a Congressman Davis Day in all these counties if you have to connect and do it together. It don't have to be one. But that is a number one priority. We got to get him back in office. Thank you.
I think you're right. And I think that's how actually this conversation started, Nancy, is we talked about a rally across the district. And, he's a busy man as he talked about his schedule. And we hope he will make some of these regionals. If he can, he can. We understand if he can't. But to come down to the larger one. But what I've been hearing from this crowd is in addition to this district thing that we got to figure out, it's what y'all are doing.
There you go.
Right.
And what y'all are doing locally is all where it starts. You can put any title on it you want. When you come together as a community, bring people out, young people, old people, new people, your veterans. I don't mean military veterans, but them too. Then bring them to Regional Valley. And then we're going to bring them to Don Davis Day as our district rally. Okay?
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, sir.
Chris Victor Neal, Camden County.
Yes, sir.
Wanted you to know that we are here today. It came in after roll call, so Cameron County is represented. We are planning something, hopefully in conjunction with our congressman, and we will do it in conjunction with our friends in Currituck County. Because a lot of the things that we do together between Camden and Currituck.
Sir, we can't hear you, please, sir. Thank you kindly.
Victor Neal, Camden County. We're going to be planning something. We're going to do it in conjunction with Currituck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor. What he said was Camden County is going to be putting together an event, hopefully Congressman Davis. Do you have a date for that yet, Victor? Or are you still planning?
No, it depends on the Congress.
And the schedule. So it'll be Congressman Davis Day in Camden County. I like it. Ronnie?
I just want to say that Garrisburg, North Carolina is in Northampton County. So we'll be celebrating June Change Day.
Okay. Thank you. Any other events? Yes, ma'am.
Linda Wayne, Lenore County, this coming Thursday, May the 22nd at 10 a.m. Attorney Sonia Davis Stocks has been appointed by Governor Stein to become a district court judge for Lenore, Green, and Wayne. That's this coming Thursday, May the 22nd, 10 a.m., Kinston Courthouse, second row. And we are so very excited about that appointment.
Tell me that day one more time.
May 22nd.
May 22nd.
10 a.m. Kinston.
Well, folks, yes, ma'am.
I just have a question. This gentleman who announced about Anita Earls at Edgecombe Community College, is that correct?
Yes.
What date was that again?
August the 9th at, what's the time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
And it's the Tarboro campus.
I'm sorry.
Tarboro.
August the 9th, 6 o'clock, the Tarboro campus of Edgecombe Community College. And the group, just to let you know, is the Eastern North Carolina Civic Group. Formally, they are not a partisan organization, okay? But they are an organization, correct me if I'm wrong, Wesley, that reaches out to about 22 counties, 23 counties in Eastern North Carolina. That's in the first, in the third, but Eastern North Carolina to engage underrepresented folks. Is that the gist of it? Because I don't want to get too far and make your event partisan, even though we have a lot of the same ideals. Yes, ma'am.
Just in terms of the justices, in Chowan County, we have a.
Can you step to the mic?
Oh, I'm sorry, Holly Nicholas, Chowan County. We have a Confederate statue in our town that we have been trying to have moved. And it's a bunch of people. It's not Democratic Party run. It's a bunch of people that moved the Monument Coalition. So Governor Josh Stein has appointed Eula Reed as a Superior Court judge in Judicial District 1, succeeding Judge Terry Tillett after his retirement. Judge Tillett has sat on our case for 3 years. There was a stay on moving the statue, and he has sat for 3 years on this case without making any kind of judgment on it. So Reed is an experienced judge and will serve until the election of 2026. And former Judge Mackenzie Cole, notable for her achievements, and that's all I did. So, so we're very happy to have a judge, a new judge that will hear this and pick up this case and do something with it, so we can move forward to remove a Confederate statue from the middle of our town.
Thank you, Frank.
I'm Frank Atkinson.
Frank, steps the mic, because I can't hear you. I'm sure they can't either.
I'm Frank Atkinson with Pasquotank County, and I just wanted to say that we are also having a No King's Day, event on the 14th. We just had one about 2 weeks ago. It was a rally for democracy. It was very successful in Elizabeth City. And if any of you want to contact me, I can put you through to the person that Dan Loudon, who is coordinating our event, and she might be able to give you some ideas to help yours also. Thank you.
Thank you. So, folks, what this show? Yes, ma'am.
Well, turn it back this way. Tammy Miller White of Quemmons County. And the reason why I'm standing up is because we have decided to collaborate with Chowan and Pasquotank and Deer and Camden. So as they're going around, it's a small regional effort. And I just didn't want us to sit there and think that we were not doing anything, because we are, because we're collaborating across all these many counties. Thank you.
And Tammy, I don't think anybody in this room thought Plymouth was, and any other county that didn't stand up. And that's okay. Because what I was looking for is things that are happening in the next 60 or 90 days. And you may have the summer. When I was in Dare County, we basically did nothing this summer because of the nature of the economy. But that's not to say in the fall we didn't kick it back up into high gear. So you heard the events, and maybe something's happening in your backyard, maybe it's not, but if it's not, it's an excuse to go stir up some trouble, some good trouble. As we get ready to adjourn, it is 12:30. I want to call again our chaplain for a quick word of benediction, and then we will finally adjourn.
Oh, please stand, everyone. All over the building. We've had a great, successful convention. Amen. We've communicated, and I thank God for all of you. We've talked, and we're going to continue to talk and organize. And now, the benediction. We want to thank God for our leader, Chris Hardee. Thank you so much. This great secretary here, Dr. Jeanette. Thank you so much. And all our executive committee members who are not here, now let us pray. Most gracious and holy and wise Father, we give you glory, we give you praise on this great day. We thank you, Father God, for a successful meeting. And again, Father God, thank you for everyone who have assembled here this evening. Thank you for traveling mercies as they continue to go their ways. In Jesus' name, we give you glory and we give you praise. We say amen. God bless you all. Know that we love you.
We stand adjourned.
Edgecombe County too. How are you?
All right, how you doing?
All right, nice to see you.
That's one you have to put on.
Yeah,
Well, see, I'm not gonna put it together. I'm a member of the
oh, good.
and I got the college.
You certainly wanted to let the ladies change.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm hanging in here.
Hanging in here. Yeah, I'm a cousin.
Oh, okay.
I'll video and stuff.
All right, okay.
How you doing?
Well,